Farm to School initiative has been in discussions for quite a number of years, but not until just a few years ago, Lieutenant Governor Shan Tsutsui got a bunch of people together to kind of form a think tank to say, let's implement something now. We've talked about it for a number of years. We've met with people. Let's get something on the ground and running. And that's where the Kohala pilot project was born. We actually said, let's see how much local we could funnel through and change the menu so kids eat it, measure our waste, get a whole bunch of data points to see, is farm to school really feasible in Hawaii? So we have folks like the Kohala Center, Kokua Hawaii Foundation, both private nonprofit organizations that are here to assist in coming up, what's the best plan and how can we get the biggest bang for our buck? We then found a contractor, Beyond Green Partners, to come in to help run our first section of the pilot. So Greg Christian came, did an assessment, and was really hands-on, in-depth with our Kohala team. He went in, did training with staff, training with kids, did a whole bunch of marketing, to the point where now manager Priscilla goes to the classroom whenever there's a new product developed and will do a survey with the kids. How's the chicken strips? Good, bad, more salt, less salt? Realizing that all of this still needs to fit into the National School Lunch Program.
The Farm to School project came to Kohala Complex because of our push and our support of garden ag. I believe back in 2010, when we opened our garden program here at Kohala Elementary School, with the support of the Kohala Center and Nancy Redfeather, who started the Hawaii Island School Garden Network, she began talking to me about the idea of Farm to School, which was foreign to Hawaii, foreign to me. It was a program on the mainland that many states are doing. And so in those conversations with Nancy Redfeather, I started to understand that, okay, this is much more than just having a garden program. To teach kids character, health and wellness, history, culture, science, STEM. The school garden can be a push for systems change. If we get enough advocacy for health and wellness, if we get enough people to lobby, like Nancy Redfeather, to lobby legislation and let them know that, you know what, there are programs out there that are dealing with health and wellness like school gardens, but what about the food that's being eaten in the cafeteria? We have programs that teach health and wellness, but are we really practicing it in the cafeteria? Then I started learning and researching, hearing speakers, reading articles about school food lunch service in America. It's really interesting when you learn about the school food service branch and where it started, from the Department of Defense to fatten up the kids. Well, it became antiquated. And now we're at a place in time in 2017 where the school food lunch program can really be an avenue for supporting local business, local farmers, local ranchers, but also get our students access to healthy, fresh food in Hawaii, period.
And creating items on the menu that are healthy, kind of ambiguous. You talk to 10 people about what is healthy, you get 12 different answers, versus USDA is pretty specific. So not only are we looking at macronutrients, calories, so sodium, saturated fat, we still need whole grains, we need beans, peas, legumes, half a cup each week. We're also looking at types of veggies. So in the last reauthorization, the USDA created subgroups for the vegetable category. So we're looking at dark greens, broccoli, spinach, romaine counts as dark greens. We're looking for starchy vegetables, which are potatoes, even purple sweet potatoes count as a starchy vegetable right now. We're also looking at red-orange veggies, which are tomatoes, carrots, bell peppers. Orange sweet potato would count as that. So there's definitely products in Hawaii that'll fit into the subcategories. There's always another category where cucumbers and things like that would fit in. So now it's looking at those subgroups for farm to school and what kind of local products best grow here. So while celery is an other category, celery doesn't really grow well in Hawaii. No huge commercial production that we're finding. Even carrots, very limited commercial production right now. Are these items that can be scaled up? And that's where we work with our ag partners like Hawaii Farm Bureau, Hawaii Farmers Union, and the Department of Agriculture to see what is best, what's possible, and what do our farmers want to do. USDA Farm to School program has really ramped up in the past few years. Our Western Regional Farm to School specialist came by, got to see the pilot. We got to speak with her, and she got to share a lot of resources on how to procure, how to best buy effectively with state and federal money local produce. She got to see a few farms and talk to them as well about some of the unique challenges being in a statewide school district separated by water. We can say what our kids like and want to eat, but the ag community can share what kind of items they have. They have readily available now to scale up quickly, as well as maybe some long-term plans.
But they get out there, they weed, they water, they take care of their plots, their garden plots, and yet, through the physical aspect of gardening, understanding pono, understanding what it means to be part of an ohana. We're planting Filipino food, Puerto Rican food, Hawaiian food, Chinese food, that go into these dishes that they know at home. I have preschoolers going into the garden, just learning their senses, their 5 senses, and then the 6th sense, right, their sense of self. So we started preschoolers learning that, exploring, kindergartners, just understanding leaves, plant cycles, and as they get older, water cycle, everything from the moon cycle. Then 4th grade Hawaiiana, learning the canoe plants. Culinary programs can come from it. Then in the high school, other programs that can come from ag, whether it's marine biology, horticulture, aquaponics. The 5th graders, they study business through the garden. So they're in charge of harvesting for people who want to donate to our garden program. So there's local businesses that are very interested and regularly use our produce. So local businesses, they're supporting our education. They harvest, they count, they clean, they bag. So they're already getting that workplace readiness, the responsibility training, understanding, like I said, simple business concepts. And they make relationships because we've had the local business owners come down as guests into the garden and look at it like shopping. Oh, we could use the taro leaf or the long beans or the cilantro or the carrots. And what they do for us is they can kind of advertise at their restaurants, at the diners, saying this is Kohala Elementary School Discovery Garden produce. So it's really a win-win situation.
We don't want to buy fresh, beautiful local produce for it to only end up in the garbage. We definitely want our kids to eat it and understand both the sense of place of this was grown in your state, but also that it's good for you, and developing those lifelong habits now while they're in kindergarten through 12th grade. So the menu was developed from the community. Both the cafeteria staff had input as well as the students.
And I started here by talking to the kids. Starting first with the kids, asking them, what do you want to eat? I don't know the land wherever I go work, so I don't know what the young customers want. Then I asked the lunchroom staff. Here it happened to be all women that all went to this school, and their kids went to this school, and their grandkids are in the school. What is it that you want to make the customers if you had a magic wand? And then I talked to farmers, what do you got? And then we made a menu. So I've never made the lao lao. I've never made all the stuff. But with my skill set in kitchenness, can I help you make it better, faster, cheaper? And they agreed to that. Of course, we have to follow the USDA rules and the union rules, and there's procurement rules. There's all kinds of rules that we have to operate in. But we figured out how to do that.
So things like our lao lao plate, we had to be very conscious of how much sodium or how much salt we're going to put into that lao lao. For the adobo sliders, we needed to be really careful on what we added in and play with the recipe a little bit. Whole grains are an important part of the USDA meal pattern, so figuring out how to now create a whole grain breaded chicken strip that's also time effective, that doesn't take 3 days to prepare for our staff was essential. So it took some research and development of the staff with Greg to perfect a lot of these recipes.
They literally run, and the teachers tell me, my students are asking me if they can get out of class early just so that they can have a lao lao because they don't want to miss it. So they have lao lao with the poi and the lomi tomatoes and sweet potato, and In October we have 1 week of break, so at that time I told them we're going to use that time, wrap the lao laos, and maybe on that Friday before Monday starts school, we'll steam it all, and then come that Monday we just have to reheat it. But the kids, they run.
Kalua pork and cabbage and lao lao, terry chicken and Korean chicken and chicken katsu. We tested recipes that the ladies invented with the customers. It took us 4 tries to make the pizza. We would serve them the pizza and they would be like, that's good, but that's not it. Then we went back to the drawing board, brought them pizza again. Is that it? That's better, that's not it. It took us a couple times on the meatballs. Lao lao they got right the first time. Everybody knows lao lao, and now Greg knows lao lao.
Chicken adobo slider was formed. Chicken adobo came from the kids, and the staff said, hey, there's this place in the community that does an adobo slider. How about we do that? And the chicken adobo slider with a green papaya slaw was birthed out of the ideas of both parties. Seeing chicken stir-fry day and the kids actually eating the vegetables of the stir-fry, pretty amazing. The look on the kids' faces while they're eating and getting their meal, just that alone, I think equals success.
We enjoy seeing the kids get excited.
The scratch cooking as a first step is important because we don't have a lot of processors in Hawaii that is going to turn potato to mashed potato for us already. So our staff needs to be able to bring in a whole sweet potato and break it down, peel it, cook it to make it to what it is. The cost of buying a pre-made lao lao is a little more than if we just make it ourselves. We have the staff, we have the capability in our kitchens, So we just need additional training to refine and find the efficiencies to prepare more scratch cooking in the same time that we have.
That was the system, right? In the 70s, 80s, all of a sudden we want processed food. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's easier, it stores longer. But now, getting back to scratch cooking, that's what they remember. You know, whether their moms or dads or grandparents were working in a cafeteria. That's how it was. Fresh local produce. So it's kind of getting back to how it used to be.
We had school-made meatloaf, teriyaki meatloaves, turkey corn scallops, you know, a lot of homemade foods, not processed. We never had chicken nuggets, ready-made chicken patties, ready-made pizzas.
And then we went live January 9th last year after building a baseline. On the baseline, we built a profit and loss statement. We built a baseline around fresh to processed food. We built a baseline on participation. And we built a baseline on local food. How much are you buying now?
The added benefits, cost savings to the department in preparing scratch-based meals with local produce, supporting our local ag. It's a win-win-win, actually, for the state of Hawaii.
At the end of May, we compared the new semester with baseline semester, which was the year before, and we ended up at increasing participation in all three schools, middle, grammar, and high school in Kohala Complex. We served 42.5% local food from baseline, which was 20%, because the milk is local. We served over 80% fresh food the last 3 months of the school year. Baseline year was 27% fresh food. And we saved $31,000 over baseline year. Because my promise to Hawaii was this: we need no more money to buy fresher food, and we need no more time in the kitchen to cook it. So we increased participation and reduced plate waste. Kids were eating more of their food. And the kind of local food that we were buying were things like local beef, all kinds of local fruit, local veggies, tortillas made here. And then the whole time that we were doing this, we continued to survey and talk to the customers to find out if it's working or not, so we weren't working in a bubble. The main complaint is we want more. And that's lovely to me. That means we're doing something right. Well, now what's happened is that the cafeteria staff is feeling very much empowered to scratch cook local food. And they are taking it very seriously. And I know that there's, you know, they're trying to get to more fresh. But here we went hyper fresh. The ladies are doing it. And they're not complaining about it. And they're working very hard.
Philly cheesesteak sandwich. This is the first time, and this was one menu on the school food service, but we wanted to try. So they called for the sweet onions and the bell peppers, and I know they don't like it too much, so we just put a little. And then, you know, one lady said, why don't you just offer them because they're small and they don't like it? I said, no, they gotta try it. That's why we left the sandwich open, so if they want to take it out, they can, but a lot of them ate it. They're not gonna know unless they try.
One of the biggest challenges we're finding in trying to buy local produce is sizing. Because we don't have hundreds of acres, or the farm could then size and get us enough quantity of the same size of orange, we had to retrain staff to know that the big orange is one piece, little oranges might be 2 pieces, the same with bananas and some other produce.
With the mostly processed food, there's the canned fruit lady, there's the frozen broccoli steaming lady, There's the frozen chicken finger on sheet pan lady. There's the baker. So now when we head to fresh and there's a lot more work, they don't have the teamwork piece. It's all siloed. So we have to create that teamwork.
We don't see the menu changing and being uniquely crafted at 256 schools, but we are looking at how we can now create more regional menus, because in Hilo, they might like beef stew one way versus in Hanalei another way. So how can we still meet all of the nutritional guidelines while also catering to our customer, the students?
We came to this work in 2015. The Lieutenant Governor convened an advisory group to develop a pathway towards bringing more local food to the schools in Hawaii. And Kohala Center was invited to be part of this advisory group. We're a community-based nonprofit for research, education, and conservation, and our main areas of interest are food self-reliance, ecosystem health, and energy self-reliance. We've had a variety of farm-to-school programs, which has included a focus on school gardens for about almost 10 years. And then in the last few years, we started working on farm-to-cafeteria projects. We sort of took on a role in assisting with some project management and strategizing and fundraising for the project. The Kohala Center came to this work with sort of a dual vision of not only engaging students more in the source of their food and having them be able to access healthier, fresher food, but also supporting local agriculture in our state. And it's an absolute win-win from our perspective, because anytime you can check multiple boxes, you want to go in that direction. And local agriculture is incredibly important for Hawaii. When you think about our geographic isolation and you think about our natural environment and climate change, it's really important that we look to support our local agricultural sector. And the Department of Education can be described as the largest restaurant chain in Hawaii. There's tremendous buying power there. And so there's a lot of different benefits that can roll out from the Department of Education making this commitment to buying local.
Cool Hawaii Foundation was founded in 2003 by Kim and Jack Johnson, and our mission is to support environmental education in Hawaii schools and communities. We have a variety of programs. 2 of them are grant programs, where we give grants to schools to help them offset the cost of sustainability projects on their school campuses. āina in Schools was started in 2006. It's a farm-to-school program, and the program is primarily made up of 6 integrated components: nutrition education, garden-based learning, healthy food on campus, agricultural literacy, waste reduction, and family and community outreach. And we currently work directly with 22 Oahu elementary schools who implement the program K through 6. So in first grade, they plant beans, and at the end of the semester, they actually harvest the beans and then they get to eat them, and it's really fun. What we found is that at first, students who may not be so inclined to eat fruits and vegetables, after planting a seed and tending to the seed and nurturing it and caring for it, once they pick it off that plant, wash it real good, and they're really excited to eat it, and they've told us it's the best bean I've ever tasted in my life. It could be the only bean they've ever tasted in their life, but it's the best bean they've ever tasted. Current time is just purchasing from local farmers and looking to increase the number of farmers who are selling to the Department of Education, at the same time bolstering our agricultural system here in Hawaii. As you know, we import a lot of our food, so it would be really great if those food producers were growing for the Department of Education. In the perfect world, that's what would happen.
The partnerships that we have with both Farm Bureau, Farmers Union, Department of Ag are really key. It's farm to school, farm being a big part of it. We don't have direct lines to farmers usually. We work through some of our vendors, but the Department of Ag, which represents all farms in Hawaii, the Farmers Bureau and the Farmers Union, which represents their constituents, really help to get the word out to farmers that we're seriously trying this.
Hawaii is ripe to get local food grown and into schools.
The schools that are willing to take this next step, they'll see. It's hard to argue against healthier food, fresher produce, supporting local business. You can't argue against that. 220,000 school-aged children. We can support local agriculture industry. They can support our children eating healthier. So I know it can be done. And in the long run, it's a win-win. And we all know how important academics are, math, reading, writing, science. However, healthier children means they have a chance at living healthier lives.
We see the benefits to the kids and also to our local farmers, and that's the kind of future that we want for Hawaii.
As we look forward into what the next steps are, expansion. We did it. We consider the pilot successful. We increased, the initial numbers are coming in where we increased local to about 40% pretty consistently throughout the semester. So let's see if we can now expand to a few more schools. Staying on the Big Island, because that's where we have the capacity right now for both agriculture and the contractor. So we'll stay there, expand to a few more schools, and slowly roll out very methodically. So will Farm to School be at your school tomorrow? Probably not. But our goal is in the next 5 years to wrap much more local produce into a very different menu.
Yes, they are. You can see it. They tell you and they're happy. It's not just a job. No, it's not just a job for us.